What's up, guys? Spenny. We haven't done an Epstein report in a hot minute, so why not? James O'Keefe naturally gets a DOJ investigator on camera revealing that Epstein was CIA and that, well, really bad things happened on the plane with President Clinton and other people. This individual, who didn't know, of course, that they were being recorded, says that there's nothing on Trump, that Trump actually helped out the DOJ try and put Epstein away. And I've interviewed all the victims. There's never been an instance where Trump was on the plane with these kids. But that can't be said for Clinton, and that can't be said for others. Okay, I want to stop here before I play you the James O'Keefe tape. And I want to show you corroborating witness testimony that that something went down really bad on this plane. And it's something that, somebody who has no connection at all to James O'Keefe and probably no connection to this investigator. This individual's name is Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey went on TV and straight up said, yeah, there were little kids on this plane, little girls on this plane when I was flying on it with Bill Clinton. And I think that's
fortunate
bad.
that President Clinton introduced me a lot of business leaders in London because he knew I was coming to the Old Vic. Do you know who I never asked for anything? Was Jeffrey Epstein. I didn't want to be around this guy because I felt he put the president at risk on that trip to South Africa because there were these young girls. And we were like, who is this guy? So I will say this.
There were young girls on those flights.
There were young girls on those flights, yeah.
I mean, what motivation would he have to say that? Also, when some of the Epstein, victims or, whatever, the witnesses were up on Capitol Hill. One of them was like, I flew around the world with Bill Clinton on Jeffrey Epstein's jet. That's what she said. No follow-up questions by our press, but that is what she said. The point is that James O'Keefe has this individual, this guy that worked at the DOJ, who since deleted his LinkedIn, but he said he was an investigator at the DOJ. And James O'Keefe has him on camera. And he says that Epstein was CIA and that the DOJ doesn't want to go after him because he's an asset for the United States and Israel. Certainly not the first time we've heard that. Here's the summary of James's report.
Overheard at Phoenix Airport on September 8th, 2025, a senior Justice Department investigator who personally worked on the Epstein case tells all. Glenn Prager, who has reviewed Epstein itineraries and has interviewed Epstein's victims, drops a bombshell. He says that the DOJ did not want to go after Epstein because he's a CIA asset, that the evidence from his investigation confirms that Bill Clinton was present for alleged rapes on the Lolita Express, and that President Trump was not present for the rapes that Glenn Prager investigated, but that he is protecting a lot of other people that were.
How about this whole Epstein thing that's going on?
I worked on that case. I used to interview all the victims, and my picture was 20 to 30 victims, in Palm Beach that I was interviewing and dealing with and stuff like that. And then we go ready to go to trial, and they would flip. Epstein would just pay them off, and they were just like these little kids. They pay off their family. They're all broke kids and poor families and all. So you pay them off like anywhere from $150,000 to $500,000, nothing in that guy's world.
Prager there describes how the victims that he interviewed were paid off by Epstein right before going to trial. Prager has worked as an investigator inside the Department of Justice for over 20 years. According to Prager's LinkedIn About page, it says that during the tenure at DOJ, Prager served as an inspector overseeing sensitive investigations involving major DOJ components, including the FBI, DEA, Bureau of Prisons, U.S. Marshal Service, ATF, and the U.S. Attorney's offices. This seems to corroborate what Prager told us. He was tasked with interviewing Epstein's rape victims and investigating flight logs. On his backpack in the airport, we spotted an embroidered FBI patch, which caught the attention of our citizen journalist.
I'll tell you this, because no, it's not talked about yet, but it'll soon come out that he was a CIA informant.
He was a CIA informant.
He was a CIA informant.
Although many have suspected it to be the case, this is the first time a Department of Justice official has confirmed that Epstein worked for the CIA and is a foreign asset.
So DOJ was settling a case, and they were just letting him, do house arrest and they minimized his arrest. Part of that is because all the victims kept on flipping, and they didn't have anyone to go to trial with. The more importantly part is they didn't want to go after him. He's a asset for the United States and Israel for the CIA. I just know that's what he was, and that's why he was protected so long for this. And people turned a blind eye about all this garbage that he was doing in the United States. He had a lot of secrets. More about Israeli stuff than anything else. I mean, he was doing stuff for Israel and the United States. He's working for both.
Okay, so after that, the individual has deleted his LinkedIn program where he says former inspector general. Here, his name's Glenn Prager. Prager served as an inspector overseeing sensitive investigations involving major DOJ components. Okay, all right. 20-year DOJ bet on Epstein. Trump was never around for the nasty stuff, but the Clintons were. This confirms what we expected. But this, of course, made a lot of news yesterday. The DOJ has sounded off, saying, as the department has made clear, this individual left the government service more than 15 years ago in a junior role. He had no knowledge or access to the investigation. The assertions are baseless. Exploiting survivors of sexual abuse, fabricating stories, personal gain is reprehensible. Enough with the clickbait. As the DOJ says. During his tenure at the DOJ, Prager served as an inspector overseeing sensitive investigations involving major DOJ components, including the FBI. The DOJ has not denied that he interviewed victims or that his claims were false. So it's back and forth here. Jeffrey Epstein, CIA confirmed we need prosecutions. Tim Pool saying, holy S. ALX saying this is interesting. DOJ didn't want to go after Epstein because he's an asset for the United States or Israel. It'll come out that he was a CIA informant. Let's set the record clear. As we stated in our original statement, he's not an investigator. He was a programs analyst. He did not interview any of the Epstein victims. His statements are false. So the DOJ is reasserting that. And I'll just leave that up for the chat, to debate. Who knows more, right? DOJ, James O'Keefe. I know them both. So, and this is on my investigation, so I'm not going to weigh in. But I'm going to say, I will weigh on this, that Donald Trump beheaded a Epstein statue. Trump officials topple towering Epstein statue in secret nighttime raid. So this was the Donald Trump Jeffrey Epstein statue that was installed in Washington, D.C. Now, how you're able to install a statue in Washington, D.C., I don't know. I've never seen anything like it myself, but apparently the Washington Post learned that the National Mall allowed a statue to be installed here, and they had like a little permit for it, right? So there you go. And then this new statue, this statue of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, who was erected by anonymous art collective The Secret Handshake, has now been beheaded. So they beheaded Jeffrey Epstein. This morning, the Trump administration destroyed the Trump and Epstein statue that had appropriate permitting to be displayed at the National Mall, not removed or destroyed. So this is them doing that. And I think it's funny because, who gave the permit here? That it's not in compliance with the permit. Yeah. I don't know. This is where it was. Libs down bad. Who got a permit for this? I mean, geez. Whoever signed that permit's getting fired. Dead of the night, the Trump administration toppled the statue. The provocative sculpture appeared on Tuesday, titled "The Best Friends Forever." Okay. And then Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump Jeffrey Epstein was summarily beheaded there.
White House over a statue of President Trump holding hands with Jeffrey Epstein, which appeared on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. yesterday morning. This is what the statue looks like today, despite a permit from the National Park Service allowing the sculpture to remain in place until 8 p.m. Sunday. It was instead unceremoniously and destroyed at around 5:30 a.m. this morning. In a statement to CNN, an Interior Department spokeswoman Elizabeth Pease said, quote, "The statue was removed because it was not compliant with the permit issued. An organizer behind the statue believes there may have been a discrepancy about the height." That's it.
Okay. Why not? I saw those two little news nuggets and I said, well, we got to talk about that. Enjoy. I hope that you debated it out in the chat. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See ya.